Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on how some of the technology you use every single day becomes so sticky. We're going to explore how it goes from something you just use to something that feels like it's a part of you.
I mean, have you ever done this? You find yourself opening an app without even consciously deciding to do it. You know that feeling, right? You're bored for just a split second, and boom, your thumb is already tapping on Instagram or TikTok. So, why does that happen?
Well, if this sounds familiar, you are definitely not alone. But here's the crucial thing to understand. That automatic, almost mindless behavior, it is not an accident. Not at all. It's actually the result of some really careful, deliberate design. It is an engineered outcome.
It's a system, a really powerful four-step loop that product designers use to build habits in us. And trust me, once you see how it works, you are going to start noticing it everywhere. So let's break it down. Okay, so before we dive right into the four steps, we gotta understand the main goal here. How does a product go from being something that's nice to have to something we feel like we absolutely need? First things first, let's just get on the same page. We're talking about habits. And a habit is simply a behavior you do with little or no conscious thought. It's automatic. See, when a product becomes a habit, you just come back to it on your own. No ads, no prompting. And for product builders, that is the holy grail. This is where the best products pull a clever little switcheroo. They start out as vitamins. They're nice to have, but not essential. But over time, they morph into painkillers. They start solving an urgent, specific problem. And here's the crazy part. A lot of the time, it's a problem the product itself kind of helps create, like the fear of missing out or just plain boredom. The product becomes the cure for an itch it helped create in the first place. So, what's the engine that drives this whole transformation from a vitamin to a painkiller? It's called the hook model, and it's this deceptively simple loop that gets us to come back again and again and again. Okay, here they are, the four steps: trigger, action, variable reward, and investment. Super simple, right? But every single time you cycle through this loop, that habit gets just a little bit stronger. So, let's take them one by one. All right, let's get into it. The loop always begins with a trigger. This is the spark, the little cue that tells your brain it's time to do something. Now, triggers come in two flavors. You've got your external triggers. These are the really obvious ones, right? The notification that buzzes in your pocket, that little red bubble on an app icon. They tell you what to do. They get you started. But the real goal, the masterstroke, is to connect the product to an internal trigger. We're talking about a feeling. When you feel bored, you open TikTok. When you feel lonely, you open Instagram. The product literally becomes the go-to solution for a negative emotion. I mean, this quote just says it all, doesn't it? TikTok didn't need some brilliant ad campaign to get people hooked. They just needed to become the world's #1 cure for boredom. And that internal trigger, oh man, it is infinitely more powerful than any push notification ever could be. Okay, so the loop has started. You've been triggered. What's next? Well, now we get to the action. And the reward. You have to do something, and you do it because you're expecting something good in return. Let's see how they make this part so irresistible. There's this fantastic formula from a Stanford researcher named BJ Fogg, and it is absolutely key. Behavior equals motivation times ability times a trigger. Now, think about it. Motivation is really hard to change, right? But what product designers can control is ability. In other words, their main job is to make the action as ridiculously, absurdly easy as possible. So how do they make things easier? They just slash the friction. They remove anything that might stop you. Does it take too much time, too much money, too much physical effort? What about mental effort? Is it weird to do in public? Does it fit into your routine? Think about scrolling through a feed. It takes less time, less money, less physical and mental effort, the whole shebang. The simpler the action, the more likely you are to do it when that trigger hits. And this is the magic ingredient. This is where it gets really interesting. After you take that super easy action, you get a reward. But, and this is crucial, it's not just any reward. The secret is that it has to be unpredictable, because our brains absolutely love surprise. These variable rewards tap directly into our deepest human drives. There are three main types. First, rewards of the tribe. This is all about social affirmation. Likes, comments, shares. It makes us feel connected. Then you have rewards of the hunt. This is our search for resources and information. Think about the infinite scroll on a newsfeed. You're hunting for that next interesting thing. And finally, rewards of the self. This is about mastery and completion, that amazing feeling of clearing your inbox or keeping a learning streak alive. The fact that you never know exactly what you're going to get, that's what keeps your brain lighting up and coming back for more.
Okay, so we've got the trigger, the action, and the variable reward. But there is one final, absolutely crucial step that closes the loop and basically guarantees you'll be back. It's the power of investment.
Now, when we say investment, we're not just talking about money. An investment is anything of value that you put into the product. It's your data, every like, every preference. It's your content, all those posts and photos. It's your social reputation, your followers. It's even the skill you build just by getting better at using the app. All these little investments make the product more valuable to you over time, which makes it harder to leave. And here's the absolute genius of the model. Your investment loads the next trigger. It sets up your next trip through the hook. When you post a photo, what are you doing? You're loading the next external trigger. You're setting yourself up to get notifications when people start liking it, and bam, the loop is closed. The cycle just keeps going, all on its own. So you can see this is an incredibly powerful model, which of course brings up a really important question. What is the builder's responsibility? How should this be used ethically? The author, Nir Eyal, gives us this framework called the manipulation matrix to think about this stuff. He says creators should ask themselves two simple questions. First, does my product actually improve the user's life? And second, would I use this product myself? As you can see, the best place to be is a facilitator. That's where you're building something you'd use that helps people form good habits, like a fitness app. The danger zone is being a dealer, creating something you wouldn't use that hooks people on a product that doesn't help them at all. It's a gut check for anyone building these kinds of products. So let's put it all together using Instagram as a perfect example. Step 1, the trigger. Could be a notification, but more often it's that internal feeling of boredom or FOMO. Step 2, the action. Super simple. Open the app and scroll. Step 3, the variable reward. You never know what you'll see. New posts, stories, maybe some likes. And step 4, the investment. Every time you like, post, or follow, you're loading the very next trigger that's going to bring you right back. And that is the entire hook in action. So now that you can see the model, now that you can see the machinery behind the curtain, it leaves you with a big question, doesn't it? Whether you're a user or a builder, you can look at the products in your life differently. So think about it. What habits are they building in you? And more importantly, are they the habits you actually want?